but can you call the February Northern Lee High School District Technology Buildings and Grounds the meeting to order. Transportation RFP. Is that something you're doing, Sherry, or is Rhonda doing that, or Greg? I'm not sure.
Mr. Durr is.
Greg is? Okay, then Greg, it's your floor.
Yes, welcome everyone. Just a quick update, district-wide, we have pretty much everything pushed back. Sidewalks are fairly clear. Most of our parking lots are limited parking at this time right now, but we're continuing to work through this, and things are moving along well. And I'm happy to report we do not have any equipment that breakdowns or problems. So thankfully that all went really well for us. So the first item I have, or the only item I have on the agenda this evening, is the Buildings and Grounds Transportation RFP. I talked about it a couple times in the slate and at the last Buildings and Grounds meeting. Just a reminder that our contract with Brandywine Transportation does expire on June 30th of this year. I have been working on a new one-year agreement with a one-year option to renew. We did have our attorneys review the RFP. He recommended a few changes, which we have made. And the reason we're looking for 1 year, a lot of uncertainty right now with COVID-19. How soon will we be back to full education? Will it be, will it be this summer or the end of this school year? Will it be next year? Changes in the educational modes for the future may look different next year. And subsidy funding may change for transportation. We're currently working through, how I want to say it, there are some guidelines out there on how we are to settle up with our current contractor for days he did not transport, so we would be able to get our full subsidy. So given all those things and unknowns at this time, we felt that a one-year agreement would be in order, and with the option to extend it 1 year. That will hopefully get us through this transitional period from our fully remote and virtual situations and get back into school. So I'll open it up. Are there any questions about the RFP? We have not made any changes to it. It's pretty much the same number of buses, same routes. There are no changes to the RFP.
Greg, when you're using the term RFP, I'm assuming you're only talking to the one company. You didn't put out a request for proposal to other people. Is that correct?
This is going to be a request for proposals. It's going out to the public. We'll publish it in the newspaper. It's a regular formal bid.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were just working with our current company or you're going to put it out. So, okay.
Yeah, it's going out to the public.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Greg on that? Anyone have any problems with proceeding that way with a 1 year? No?
Mr. Green, we can include that in the Friday update for all board members to review as well, but we would like to post it next week.
Anyone have a problem with that? Post it.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Durr, I know you have other commitments this evening, so if you need to excuse yourself, feel free to do so. And thank you for your update.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
Take care, Greg.
Thank you.
We have one other item on our lengthy agenda this evening, and technology, old technology equipment recycling. Is that, Eric, you're going to talk about that one?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I only have one item on the agenda tonight, and that is some old electronic equipment that we're getting ready for recycling. Mr. Stephen Haas and Mr. Kyle Kramer have been going around to all of our schools over the last couple weeks, and they've been collecting. We have some old equipment in the basement at Peters. We have some in the warehouse at the district office in Slatington, and they've been going through and getting these devices together and putting them on pallets. We have a combination of some old laser printers. We have some old desktop computers, some LCD monitors. We have some of the Nook e-readers, actually that came from the high school. We have the old UPSs that we replaced last year on our E-rate program that we did. So we have those UPSs still sitting around. We have a few old network switches. And we also have some Promethean whiteboards. Those are the whiteboards that we took out of Peters this past summer. We replaced them with the new Epson projectors and the whiteboards out there. So all that equipment we gathered up, we have it on pallets. I will be trying to get some prices from a few companies to see if they will take this equipment free of charge, or there may even be a fee, because some of this equipment, again, is some older equipment. So they may not purchase it from us. Like last year, we got a pretty good deal where they purchased a lot of our old laptops and things. This year, I'm expecting either to come out flat, meaning we don't have to pay for anything, or we may even have to pay a little bit to have some of this equipment recycled. So I will be contacting a few of the vendors to see who gives us the best deal on that. We also have a few carts in Peters Elementary. We have some old laptop carts. We will also be, I will be working with Mr. Durr to get rid of those carts as well. We have a few ideas for those. We'll first offer them up if anybody wants them for their classrooms. Mr. Durr may also need them for if any of the maintenance staff wants to use them for, like, sometimes they like to put tools and things in them. We're going to use them for that first. And then if not, some of the older carts will get probably scrapped for scrap metal. So I will be working with Mr. Durr and the maintenance staff on getting those taken care of. So that's really all I have for recycling. I will be getting the information on that, and we'll move forward down the road. Anybody have any questions?
I'm assuming you don't need or want an agenda item on that. Is that correct? Or do you?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Comments from anyone? Any place? Anywhere? If not, after 8 minutes, I think our meeting is over. If anyone, no one has anything else to add, I would say we're done here at 7:38, so, or 5:38, excuse me.
Yep, and there are no online questions as well. So, yep, we are good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Then that ends the Technology Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting, and we can transition into the Finance Committee meeting. And I will ask Mrs. Culp to open that.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for attending, especially with all that white stuff out there. We'll let Sue go first. Cafeteria, please.
Thanks, Donna. I don't have much. Obviously, things have been slow with us because of counts being down, or even less people coming through because there's more virtual. However, we did get an email from Lindsay from the Northern Lehigh Rec Center, who's excited to partner with us again this summer for feeding. So I'm going to move ahead and see what we need to do to make that happen, and I'll get back to you once we have made any commitments. Other than that, that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Sue? Okay, we'll go to the next item, tax collector, Rhonda O'Sherry.
Hey, could I just ask, Susan, I had heard some numbers that our cafeteria kind of worked in the red in, that would have been December. Do you have any updated numbers for January at this point in time?
I don't. I will have updated numbers tomorrow, probably when I get back in the office.
Okay, or if you have them for Monday night's meeting, whatever, that would be good. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bonnick, I do have one quick follow-up question for this, or actually more of a comment. For the summer programs, hopefully we can host the programs on site again. I would love to see the children there. for those type of programs as well. But if not, maybe we can do a grab and go for them if they're hosting somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm confident we can make something happen without question.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
just a matter of figuring out the logistics.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure. Okay, Mrs. Maltors.
Yes, hi. So in this week's update, I had addressed the tax collector increases that have to be approved by February 15th. So those will need to go to the Board of Education for approval at the February board agenda meeting. We actually met with them last Thursday. They didn't come wanting much. They did ask for a base salary and a 3% increase, which I do have information, and I did say that I would share some other information with you. So I'm going to take a few seconds here. I'm going to present my screen so you can see my spreadsheet that I did. Just a second here. All right, can everybody see that screen? Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's get rid of that one. There we go. Can everybody see that? I can't see you, so somebody please say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so when this comes up every 4 years, Northwestern always puts out, tell us what you're paying your tax collectors, tell us where you're at, so that we can kind of compare and look at our school district compared to other school districts. So column A are the school districts that responded. The number after their name is the number of tax collectors that are in each one of their jurisdictions. The next one is the base salary that they pay. Column B is the base salary. So for East Penn, they have 5 tax collectors. The lowest tax collector gets paid $3,200 at a base salary for the year. The highest tax collector gets $30,000 a year. Parkland has a total of 3, anywhere from 25 to 28. Whitehall has 2. They get a set amount of $38,000 for each one of them. Northwestern has 4. They pay them $3,003 a year as a base salary. Palmerton has 4. They pay them $1,700 as a base salary. And then the other 3 do not. I'm a little leery about Southern Lehigh. I had a call into them. I have not received a call back yet. Their numbers just seem a little low to me compared to the other school districts with much higher much higher budgets than what ours is. So I have a call into them. I'm kind of like taking them out of the mix right now because theirs just seems a little low to me. The column C then is the number of bills that they put out in just real estate bills for the year. And I did verify them. We get every month a county assessment that tells us our assessed rate and our tax bills, but it's everybody in Lehigh County. So I did verify all these bills are within like 3 to 5 bills, depending upon, going up or going down with parcels, adding or deleting since this had gone out for all of us to complete. Column D then is a per bill collection rate. So every tax collector then, they have a base salary, but then they get paid based on the number of tax bills that they collect. So if you see East Penn pays $3 for the first 2,000 and $2 everyone after that. Parkland does not pay a base salary, nor does Whitehall. They just get their salary. So they're $25,000 to $28,000 or the $38,000 for Whitehall. That's all included in there. They get one flat fee, and that's what they make for as a tax collector. Northwestern pays $222 a bill. Palmerton pays $280 a bill. Southern Lehigh pays $315 for the first 2,000, $215 after that. Northern Lehigh pays $201, and Caddy pays $2.70 for the first 1,200 and $2.40 for everyone after that. So what I did then is I kind of looked at, and that's their total bills. So you have to realize when I did this calculation, I said if everybody paid their bill, this is the max amount that they would be paying out for their compensation rates for the year. So you could see East Penn pays about $111,000 a year, and then on down with all the other school districts. Parkland 78, 77 for Whitehall, 29 for Northwestern, all the way down to Caddy being the lowest at 8,000. And then 2021 budget, I just have in there millions of dollars of what their annual expenditure budget is. So East Penn is $157.1 million, and we end with Caddies at $33.5 million. We are at $37.2 million, but actually, if you remember, we had over a $2 million decrease this year because we refunded those bonds, so that will go back up to about $35.7 million moving forward. So, so now I took that information, and what they came to us and asked for was a base salary, and they asked for a 3% increase. So on the $2.01 currently that they're getting paid, if I do for the 22 tax year, 23, 24, and 25, they're looking at $2.07 a bill, $2.13 a bill, $2.19 a bill, ending in the year 25 collection with $2.25 a bill. So if I took all of our collections, which we have 5,829 bills, real estate bills. This is only real estate because not everybody does per capita. So in our real estate bills, if I take that times the total, if everybody paid us, we'd be paying them, all of our tax collectors in total in 22, $12,066. If we decided to honor their $1,250 tax or base rate increase, it would be a total of $3,750 for our 3 tax collectors, giving us a total that we would pay out for tax to our tax collectors at $15,816. That would be an increase. If you go back here to look what we paid this year, we paid about $11,007, be an increase of about $4,000. Every year after that, our increase, because we're not growing this base, we're just growing the 3% on the tax bills that they'll be collecting, is $350 a year more. So over a 4-year period, we're looking at an increase of $5,148.96. Understanding that they're getting this $3,500 each year, but I just looked at what would my increase be the next year and then the year after that. So administration discussed, we don't think it's unreasonable what they're asking for, especially when you look at where the other ones in the area are getting. We are the lowest at a $2.01 collection rate. If we went to where Caddy was and said, we're going to do away with this, but we're going to pay them $2.70 a bill for that first 1,200 and $2.40 a bill after that, it puts us at paying them total $14,859. So it's only off about $1,200 from giving them a base salary. So I'm opening up for questions now. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, but we are looking for some kind of move forward for recommendation to go to the board on Monday night on what we would like to approve for our tax collectors for the next 4 years, which will not start till July of 2022. Do we have any questions? Do we have any recommendations?
Sure. Let me go. Oh, sorry, this is Gary.
Sure.
What I'm seeing now, then, so in 2022, we would go up in their salary to I'm sorry.
Sure. We were looking at a base salary of $1,250. Currently, they do not get any kind of base salary.
Okay.
They get
So
absolutely
we're looking at giving them a base and then and also then the increase.
Correct, which is 5 cents a bill.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I mean, I don't see a major problem with it, considering we are the lowest in the area anyway. And it's really not that much for the tax collectors in general. So is that pretty well comparable to what they would probably be getting in the municipalities also that kind of an increase? Or they?
Yeah, I don't know what the municipalities pay.
Okay.
I'm honestly, Gary, I didn't even look into that. I just compared them to other school districts.
No, it didn't. And that doesn't matter. I was just curious to know. I mean, I'm assuming if they're coming for that kind of increase here, which is not, again, insignificant, I think, but they're probably going for the same there. Okay, I just thought maybe you knew. No problem.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Just one quick comment, Sherry.
Sure.
You're looking at giving each of them the same $12.50, and I'm wondering how that equity falls out. I don't know where we stand now. I know the last time I looked, for every bill in Walnutport, there were 2 in Slatington and 3 in Washington Township. So the Washington Township person had a considerably larger amount of work to do. Is it fair to give them all the same base salary? And I realize they're going to get more bills sent out and they're going to get reimbursed as a result of that. It's just a question. Have you considered that at all?
Matt, you are 100% correct. I have Washington Township at 3,300 bills. I have Slatington at 1,500 and Walnutport at 800. But then I also look at what like Northwestern does. They do 1,700 and they're in the same situation. You know, one jurisdiction over there has 800 and some bills more that they collect than somebody else. I think they just did it kind of to be, everybody started with the same base. They make up the difference in the fact that they're going to get more money because they're going to process more bills. So it's for bills that they process that's going to get them the more money.
I don't know what was discussed at all, and apparently you haven't addressed it.
Sherry, I'm assuming you have a good relationship with the tax collectors?
Yes. We've had 2 new ones this year. The one we're working with and really trying to work hard with, and the other one came on really knowing a lot of accounting and that kind of stuff, and they're doing a very good job as well. So you know, it's with anything. It takes some coaching, but once we get them on to where they need to be, they've been starting to produce reports like they're supposed to and get them to us on time, and we've been really working collaboratively with them.
Okay.
Sherry, this is Gary again. My assumption is that for the base salary, that all the tax collectors, no matter, are doing much of the same preparation.
Correct.
And the same, and having to take the same class and everything else. So I really think that what happens then is the inequity really comes in then with the number of taxes they actually produce, and that does increase, so that it does help the people in Washington, the person in Washington Township. They do get more, but I don't think that the base and the preparation and the education, everything else differs. So I'm okay with the base.
Okay, thank you.
Sherry, I agree with Gary. I think it's fine to do that.
Okay, then with agreement, we'll get that on the board agenda for Monday evening for approval.
Before we move on, Mr. Kern, did you want to weigh in at all?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't realize Bob.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with what was discussed. We're good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bob.
Sherry, can you, just to fill in the notes there under my last bullet, can you put in there the spreadsheet specific to Northern Lehigh?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You don't have to put in the stuff for the other districts, just, you know,
Yep.
specific to Northern Lehigh.
Will do.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I think you and Mrs. Franz are up for the next topics as well.
Yep, so we have on the board agenda this month for approval is the LTRI-C, LCTI, and CLIU budgets for this upcoming school year. We have very simple, very basic. LTRI-C went down almost $6,000, $59.89. We are looking for approval for that on Monday evening. And I would assume if you have any questions about that budget, you can speak with Mr. Green about that, who I'm pretty sure probably knows that budget inside and out. Lehigh Career and Technical Institute, remember that's based on a 5-year rolling average. So that depends on how many students we have in our district that are going there is what our fair share of that is. So that one is the only area that we're seeing an increase in these budgets this year, and that is almost $75,000. Again, but that is based on our rolling average and the fact that probably there for a little while, we didn't have as many students enrolled out there as we have picked up in the last couple of years. Again, if you have any questions about that budget, Mr. Fedorcha will be able to answer any questions about that one. And then the last one we have is the IU budget. Now, this is just the operating budget for the IU. So this does not involve any of their special programs or all the fees that we pay for the special ed classes and stuff. This is just their general operating budget. And we are seeing a decrease in there of $1,200. So we're actually, our overall budget there is only $18,000. But like I said, that is a drop in the bucket compared to the actual cost with the programs that they offer. That's where all of our money is at the IU. And that we get a bill to start the year of a projection of how much that's estimated to be. Then mid-year, about this time every year, we get a reconciliation on actual what our cost will be for the year. It's hard to determine what those costs are year to year until they find out how many students are enrolled in those programs to start the school year. Any questions about the budgets that are going on the agenda?
I'll make one quick budget on the LTRC budget. Yeah, we went down 6,000, but again, that's on a rolling average. The budget is up a couple points overall. The big concern at LTRC is we don't know where the heck we're going to be next year, and there are some metrics that say you will continue to have a decline in population as you did last year. There's some other theories that say, you know, you may actually have a double class coming. All the students who graduated from high school last year who didn't go to college or decided to stay home for a year might be coming back next year, and you might get hit with like a double dose. So there's really a lot of uncertainties, and I would suggest in the long run, if we do get the double dose, that'll probably be advantageous because the more students you have, your fixed costs stay the same, et cetera, et cetera. So if we do get more, it should get better. But we based upon still getting a slight decline for next year, and we'll just have to see where that happens. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
All of those budgets in their totality will be included in the Friday update as well.
Yep. Any other questions for Sherry?
I don't have, Donna, this is Bob. I don't have any questions on that. If we're moving on to another subject, I just have just a quick one.
I say go ahead.
I'm just curious about the rec center and all of that. I don't know if that's a buildings and ground issue or a finance issue, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe I missed something, but I read in the paper, that the building was offered to the district, and I really didn't know anything about that. And if it's my error that it was discussed, then I apologize. What were what was the offer? Why did we decide we weren't interested? Any information on that would be great. Thanks.
Sure, I can speak to that, Mr. Kern. I had included that information, I believe, in last Friday's update. It may have been the previous one. It had asked if any board members would like it to come out to be discussed at the board meeting coming up on Monday to let me know, and I would put it on the agenda. They did offer to gift the property and the partially completed structure on it to the district. When we kind of talked through it administratively, we know that it's minimally hundreds of thousands of dollars just to complete the structure, and then the cost to maintain the structure and the property moving forward. And if we were to put any sort of programs in there, the cost of the personnel that go with the programs. We did not think it was feasible at this time to take on those additional costs, even though the building would be gifted to us. Even if it were just to sit there, it becomes a liability for us as far as trying to maintain the property or securing the building.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Sure thing. Now, that being said, Mr. Kern, we're very grateful for the relationship that we do have with the rec center administration and with Northern Lehigh Recreation. They're great community partners. This was just not something feasible for the district at this time.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing obviously been going on for many, many years. It's a shame, it garnished more support. It is what it is. It was a good effort by those involved. They're to be commended for what they tried to do for the community. And I totally get that. I understand though.
Bob, this is Gary. I sit on that board and for many years also. And honestly, Michelle and Paul their lives and their whole heart and soul was in this. But just like Matt said, the cost would be tremendous to do anything to it. Plus the insurance on that, because it's not on our property and everything else. But what they did, I should say, not so much we, offered it to the school district first because it is a gifted kind of idea. And they wanted to make sure that the district had a chance to at least consider it. They do have a potential buyer. And that potential buyer also has said that there would be room within that building once they do whatever they need to do to bring it up to a workable type of building, that it would be open to the community center for some of their activities also. So it may be a win-win in the end. Unfortunately, it's a loss in the fact that 20 years of hard work and service and money went into it, and we're not going to see the fruits of it. So, but I really think that administration looking at not taking it on was a wise decision, because we are talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars just to bring it up to working a facility. Thank you.
And I totally agree with that, Gary, 100%. I'm just happy to hear that, the building will be utilized, hopefully, if the buyer does come through for something. Obviously, then we're talking about a tax base, which helps all of us. So I was worried about what was going to happen to the building and maybe what the future of it was. But thank you for the information. I appreciate it.
Now, Mrs. Culp, that's all of the items on our agenda. I don't know if anybody would like to bring something up, or Mr. Hill, if there's anything from the community.
The only other thing we wanted to say is we did sit in and listen to the governor's budget today. It was, let's just say, a very aggressive budget. He has, I think he's got a long road ahead of him if he is going to get everything that he hopes to accomplish accomplished. So we will keep you informed as we hear more about that. We're still kind of gnawing our way through it as well. But once we know more and we see where we're going with it, we will keep the board informed.
At least he has education really involved in it, so that's one good thing. If it gets passed, we are gonna be a good resource.
Yeah, you are correct, Gary. I shared those numbers earlier with Rhonda. I mean, special ed, $233,000 increase, basic ed, 116. So yeah, it would be nice, but I don't know if he's going to have all the support that he has to keep all the education stuff in place that he has recommended. So
he also wants to address charter schools, which we all know is a major issue.
Yep.
That was a big item on his list. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, and if we can get rid of that, that would definitely even help our budget itself. Even if we don't get the money he would like to give us, not putting that money out to the charter schools would be a great advantage to us.
Exactly. Yep.
We'll hope some of it comes to fruition. Are there any questions from the public?
There are no questions at this time.
All right. Anybody have anything else for?
I have an unrelated question. Matt, Mr. Link, I'm just reading, and am I reading correctly now that the superintendent of Allentown has resigned?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's accurate. Thomas Parker has resigned. I believe he's going to work for a nonprofit back in Michigan, where I believe he was last prior to joining Allentown School District. I will say he was a good person, and I enjoyed working with him as part of the Lehigh County Superintendent's Group.
This is really the captain leaving the sinking ship, though, isn't it? No comment. That's it. I'm done. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Seeing none, I adjourn for the evening and thank you for attending.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.